be with the right spouse, because that is key. I can't tell you. My husband and I talk about this all the time. Doesn't matter how motivated you are, how inspired you are. If you go home to lay in bed with your wife and she crushes all of your dreams, and that starts because you're not on the same page. You and I just discussed this. This is the main question I get from women. And a lot of the times I'm like, hey, let your man go out and execute. Now, if he's messing around, that's a different story. But if he's out there hustling and you're over here like bitching when he gets home, like nobody has time for that. You know, we're fighting against the world. There are disagreements. I'm not saying by any means, which is my next question to you. Sometimes I want to kill my husband. Like, I'm like, dude, just fucking do not, like, just zip it, you know? And you know what I'm talking about
100%.
Because being in business together, him and I do everything together. We don't work out as often because of the kids now. And I actually miss that a lot, but we try on the weekends, or we do our best to juggle everything and make everything work. That's why when people give me their excuses, I'm like, don't do that to me. Like, it doesn't work with me. It might work with other people that are lying to you like, oh, it's okay, you know, but it's not okay. It's not okay. You know, if those are your dreams, you go out and get them. So what is the biggest advice, you know, you can give to people? Because we talked about this last night when you were over, about being on the same page. This does not mean you have to be attached by the hip by any means. This means, what does it mean, Sophie?
Yeah. So my biggest advice always, when they ask me this question, is that when you have a spouse that you either work with them together or you're in two different careers, it does not matter. But both of you need to be aligned. You have to have one goal that you both are going to go towards it. You got to be parallel to each other, getting to that goal. If you guys don't have the same vision, if your spouse is stopping you from being a big thinker, a big dreamer, or helping you achieve the goals that you want, which is going to help the whole entire family.
100%.
So if you're together in business, one advice that I always tell everybody is that you both have to have your own lane. What are you going to be responsible for? What am I going to be responsible for? You got to go together. You're going to be parallel, heading to the same direction. Because if you don't have direction, this is what happens. You're going to be bitching at each other all the time because, oh, I thought you were going to do it. Oh, no, but you were going to do it. And no, but I do it better than you. Or no, whatever the case may be. Have your own lane, knowing that you're going in the same direction. If you're not in the same business and you have two different careers, that doesn't mean that you still don't need to be shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand, to help each other get to that end goal.
Yeah.
And, I always show an example that sometimes Bobby goes a little faster than me, but his hand is right there holding it and let's go, pushing me. And there's other times that it's me. I'm going towards this goal. I know, babe, come on, we got to do it. Let's go. It doesn't matter. Don't be, because don't claim the leader, I'm the better one, or don't do this. Just because you're a man doesn't mean that you're better or that you need to be that alpha. You both have to be aligned together, have the same goals, and bring each other up. If one falls, grab them. Let's go. Guys, it's the worst thing when I see couples that are tearing each other apart, tugging this way, tugging that way. And where are you going? You can't get up there if you're tugging each other other ways. You get stuck. Where divorces come in play, that's where you start blaming everybody. That's when you're miserable. But if you are both a goal, guys, it's so important to have goals. I love to tell people, have the biggest goals ever and put it up there. That is up in the sky, and have stepping stones. Yeah. You have to have stepping stones one by one. And if you are not aligned and helping both of each other up that ladder, you're never going to get up there. You cannot be successful. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how much money you have, because that brings you down, tears you apart. And if, men sometimes don't like to bring their women into this business stuff. And let me tell you, it's the biggest mistake a man could do. Because even if she doesn't work with you, let's say she's a housewife, you still need to bring in your wife and explain to her what your goals are that you want to accomplish. And if she's that housewife for you guys, that's a bigger job than being an entrepreneur. You're 24/7 with these babies. They're running the household. And guess what? That household, if it's not ran properly, you crumble too. 100%. So if the housewife is a house, you need to come home and explain to her what happened to your day. Because what happens when, and vice versa, if it's a woman that's out there, but you come home and you're so happy. Oh my God, today we closed 100 loans. We're so happy. And you're home, right? And you're miserable because the kids have been driving you crazy. But Albert comes in super happy and you're a nag. Yeah. Guess what? You just brought the whole vibe that Albert accomplished down. So guess what? Now Albert's going to be the fucking, sorry, my bad words. And then, or vice versa. So he comes home in a bad mood and you're ready to talk because you've been home with the kids all day and you want an adult conversation. 100%. Guess what? He doesn't want to talk. He's super pissed because something happened at work. How do you know that he had a bad day? Or how do you know if he had? So if you are not communicating with your spouse about your goals, about your career, it's impossible. I don't care what, guys. You're not going to reach that empire that you want to build. So 100%. Being aligned, communicating with your spouse, being in business with you, not being in business with you, having two separate careers, it does not matter. That alignment and having that same goal is a key to be able to accomplish an empire, to leave for a legacy.
100%. And for the record, for those stay-at-home moms, the days that I have literally no help, I'm like, holy mother, like I'm not even ready to go back to work on Monday.
The hardest job ever. It's not me. I can never do it.
You know, I only have 2 kids, and these kids, I'm like, it's never ending. It's just never ending. Something breaks, something. It's always something. It is the hardest job ever.
Keeping the house clean, cooking, maintaining the whole family.
Crazy.
Oh my God, it's
and I have a lot of help, and it's still hard for me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'd rather just come to the office and deal with all of this, but. Yeah, so being on the same page is important.
100%. Communicating and explaining and being on that, parallel line. Being on that parallel road to your empire is extremely important.
We actually have a relationship improvement dinner that we do. And because some things, think about it, you're with somebody 24/7. It's totally different than dating. And you realize like all the little flaws of someone and vice versa. So we hold each other accountable as well. I remember one day, somebody in the company was like, Albert's so mean. Why would he tell you that? I think it was one of our driven couples. And I was like, oh, no, it's cool. I don't mind. If I get a little fat, it's okay. I like my husband to tell me because I don't want to end up like this, right? Because that's how people end up. And he didn't marry a fat girl. Yeah. He didn't. And nothing, again, however you're happy, everybody is different. But I married a stud, and he married a really hot girl, which I don't know if I'll ever get to be that hot again. But you get my point. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's the way, he didn't say, hey, you're a fat ass. He just said, hey, Sil, make sure you don't skip stairs today. You're getting a little choppy.
A little blown up.
And I'm like, thank you. Like, because someone has to hold us accountable, and when you're with someone for so long, now we have separate bathrooms. It is the best thing in the world. I don't have to see his mess. I don't care if his clothes are not in the hamper. My housekeeper handles that. But you get my point. It's those little things. So we would sit down and talk about stuff like this. Or we have a rule now. We do not talk about work. Like if we're going on a date, I'm like, we will talk at the beginning, and if once we start having a drink or two, I'm like, we have a rule. It's like, it's done.
Yeah.
The work talk is done because that escalates very quickly.
Yeah, and when you work together, it's so easy to just talk about work, right? And we got into that routine too, and it's kind of, some women say, my God, but I'm already tired. And especially if they're not in the same business or if they're not in the same career, it's tiring to talk about the same thing over and over. So that's another thing that's very important, is to know your boundaries and have those date nights and being able to talk about each other. And again, if you're in a different career than your husband or your wife, give them the opportunity to speak about how was your day? What was your productive? Yeah. What are you going through? Do you need any of my help? Do you want me to be an ear and just listen? Or do you want me to give you a comment on what, suggest something that's going to work for you? Or a housewife that wants to explain to you, today I did this with the kids or whatever. You have to listen to each other and being able to just disconnect and have personal communication, because that's important
but
too.
That is like the key. Humans honestly don't know how to properly communicate. Most problems you can fix just by having a sit down and communicate, talking about it, right? But I'm telling you, because I deal with 300 plus people in the company. Like, it's crazy. And I'm just like, this is a simple call. You just have to say, boom, done. See, I'm the person that picks up the phone. I'm like, okay, let's talk about
Yeah.
it. Because I don't like drama and BS. Like it takes away from the main goal.
Yeah. It makes it it gives you a bad taste in your mouth instead of making this journey a pleasant and enjoyable one, and communicating. Sometimes people think that it's communicating to fight. It's not to communicate to fight. You have to communicate to resolve an issue and to find a solution instead of coming in with a problem saying, hey, this is something I don't like. How can I fix this with you? How can we, make this better so that we can enjoy this journey instead of it being torturous and not enjoyable, and hate each other through the process.
But there's also levels, It's like, you have your single life, then the kid life, and then in between is always business.